Valerie, a world-renowned motivational speaker, inspires many. However, she secretly suffers from terrifying nightly dreams of being pulled underwater, the cause of which remains unknown to her. Valerie's mother is deceased, and her father's whereabouts are unknown. Her husband, Ruby, loves her deeply. A letter from her village negatively impacted her mood. Despite meeting a friend, her sadness persisted. Valerie has also experienced unusual itching on her head for a while. Valerie, who takes birth control pills and itch-reducing medication, experienced persistent itching despite medication. This led her to online research which frightened her. She then discovered a large ant colony inside her house, further increasing her fear. Valerie needed her birth certificate for an international tour but couldn't find it. She believed it was with her mother and sought help from her aunt. Her aunt directed her to a locker containing a box left by her mother. Upon finding the box missing from its usual location, they speculated that Valerie's father might have taken it. Valerie returned home, experiencing intense head itching that worried her husband. Doctors couldn't diagnose her condition, leading her to suspect a genetic cause inherited from her mother. Despite this, she prioritized her upcoming international tour and met her father, wearing a cap to conceal her head. Valerie visited her father, a former soldier now a mother, in the village. Her father denied knowledge of a box left by her mother. A strange painting in his room prompted a story about an entity called Sanshi. Sanshi, a parasite feeding on human spiritual energy, resides with its host until their destruction. Valerie, seeking her mother's box, instead found her birth certificate in her father's locker. While leaving, she heard a child crying and experienced hallucinations, believing evil spirits, and then a guard were pursuing her. Returning home confused, Valerie examined old family photos found in the locker. Valerie discovered old photos revealing a similar allergy mark on her mother's hand to one she suffers from. This led Valerie to believe her current irritable condition, which affects her relationship with her husband, is inherited. Her irritability caused her to injure herself while sleeping, leading her to show the photo to her aunt. Valerie's aunt revealed that Valerie's mother died possibly due to debt or alcohol problems, despite the aunt's efforts to help. The aunt advised Valerie to avoid her father, offering no information about him. Later, during a photo shoot, Valerie saw a shadowy figure, frightening her. She hid her fear and later scratched her head until it bled, lying about it to Robin. Valerie injured herself and lied about it. Discovering her birth control pills, her husband Ruby argued with her. This led to a strained relationship, resulting in Valerie living alone and tying her hands at night to prevent scratching her head. The woman woke with blood on her scalp and her hands unbound, realizing an external force must be responsible, as she couldn't have opened her hands herself. Valerie discovers many ants in her house and follows them. Her worried father arrives, having been unable to reach her by phone. He reveals that Valerie's mother died because of a century-old parasite originating from an enemy soldier he killed years ago. This parasite now resides in Valerie, explaining her recent, strange experiences. Valerie's dad knew that Valerie would react a lot after knowing all these things. That's why he mixed sleeping pills in her tea and brought it to her, due to which Valerie fell asleep right there. And when she woke up, she immediately remembered all those things, and now she started searching about her mom's death. She finds a lot of newspaper cuttings and things in her own house in which it was clearly written that her dad had actually murdered her mom. She broke down after hearing this. While closing her windows during a sudden rainstorm, Valerie saw her mother's shadow. This triggered a flashback revealing her mother's death, which Valerie witnessed. Her father drowned her mother, who was in pain. Valerie confronted her father, accusing him of murdering her mother. He claimed he was fighting a Sanshi to save her mother, who died in the struggle. He further stated her mother sacrificed herself to protect Valerie, leaving her with the Sanshi, which must be killed to ensure Valerie's safety. Valerie, unconvinced and frightened, returned home. The speaker, facing a major international seminar, intentionally acted strangely, scratching her head and wearing a cap to invite ridicule. During her speech, she emphasized self-recognition as crucial for personal growth, using a girl as an example. However, she saw a frightening shadow, identified as Sanche, which caused her to collapse in fear and pain, alarming the audience. Valerie, distressed after a public performance, fled and sat in her car. Subsequently, excessive head scratching caused a head wound, leading to brain damage and unconsciousness. Robbie found her and took her to the hospital. Valerie's life was saved, but Sanche was harassing her in the hospital. He hit her head, causing itching, but Valerie remained calm and unafraid, choosing to confront him. Valerie's condition improved as she confronted her fear, reducing Sanche's control. Robbie's care contributed to her progress. He prevented her from touching her head, which caused paralysis, hindering her walking. She was relearning to walk, and despite Robbie tying her hands to stop her scratching her head at night, she managed to untie them. Robbie saw Valerie with a scratched head and scissors, believing she self-harmed. He became angry, feeling his efforts to help her were wasted because she didn't want to get better. Despite Valerie's explanation that Sanche was responsible, Robbie refused to listen and left angrily. Valerie, feeling alone and defeated, sought support through self-motivational videos. She then confronted an entity, Sanche, deciding to fight it herself to resolve her problems. To prepare, she anesthetized Robbie before confronting Sanche in a room filled with mirrors, demanding the entity reveal itself. Sanche, a scary entity, appeared to Valerie from a mirror. She grabbed Valerie and held a knife to her neck, threatening to never leave. Robbie awoke tied to a bed and called for Valerie. Valerie, also tied to a bed, attempted to severely cut her hand with a machine, but was initially unsuccessful. After gathering courage, she injured her hand using the machine. Valerie cut her hand, causing significant bleeding, which she attempted to stop. After cleaning herself, she prepared to cut her other hand, but Sanche intervened. Despite Sanche's threats, Valerie engaged him in conversation before cutting her other hand and attacking him with the cutting tool. However, Sanche's injuries regenerated. Valerie, frightened, attempted to escape Sanche, who prevented her. Valerie then jumped into the water, followed by Sanche, who struggled. Valerie held and restrained Sanche, realizing her mother's death was a suicide caused by Sanche, not murder by her father. Ruby rescues Valerie from drowning. Ruby emerges from the water holding a small black baby, a weakened version of Sanche, which subsequently dissolves and dies in the water. Valerie, shown in a post-credit scene, has a baby and her severed hand is reattached. While feeding her son, a bruise is visible on the baby's face, raising questions about Sanche's death. The movie concludes.